guys could see that cheekbone popping through. That is what a contour does. And then on this side, it's giving warmth, it's giving bronzy, it's giving glowy. This is what a bronzer does. Contour, bronzer. Contour, bronzer. Hey sis, welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're gonna go over the key differences between a bronzer and a contour. So if you're someone who is struggling with when to implement each, then this video is for you. All right sis, so the first thing that's important to know is the difference between both a bronzer and a contour. So a bronzer is meant to add warmth back into the skin. It's supposed to bring back that natural sun-kissed warmth to your skin. So everyone, as soon as the sun hits your skin, has that natural warmth to their skin. So that's essentially what a bronzer is. On the other hand, a contour is adding back structure and shadows to your skin. Once we put on foundation, our skin tends to lose the natural contours and shadows. So that's why in the makeup application, adding back the contours to your skin is really important. Now, understanding the difference between the both of them is going to help you understand when to implement both of these into your makeup application. Now, they both do not need to be used at the same time. They can be used separately in different ways and different forms. So I'm going to go over the different applications and different types of bronzers and contours to use, and then follow that up with the application. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and just apply some foundation. So as you guys can see, I don't have anything on my skin. I've already primed and everything's set. So today I'm going to use my imanileemariee's Yummy Face number 1.0 brush, and then I'm going to just use my House Labs Triclone Skin Tech foundation. I love this foundation. I am in the shade 480. So I'm just going to pump one pump to the back of my hand. We're just gonna dab this in. And like I said, when you apply foundation to your skin, you lose the natural shadows. I'm gonna show you actually one side. You can actually see the natural shadows here on my skin, my forehead, but I'm gonna show you what adding foundation to your skin does in terms of getting rid of that natural shadows on your face. All right, so on this side, I have the foundation on. So you can see that pretty much everything is one even complexion. Naturally, nobody has an even complexion. We have different areas on our face where it's a lot more darker or lighter, and the darker areas is what we would consider our contours. So our contours usually are in the same place. This stands for everybody. So that's our forehead, our cheekbones, and our jawline. I like to say that this is the three on our face, the outer area of our face, and it's in the shape of a three. So our forehead, our cheekbones, and our jawline. Also, the sides of our nose are considered areas of contour. So for the sake of this video, I did want to just do my highlight concealer because this is the best way to show how contour and bronzer comes into play. When we talk about contour and bronzer, they're usually done with a full face of makeup. So that's your foundation, your highlighting concealer, and then just doing the whole work. So I went ahead and just used my Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Sculpting Concealer. I'm in the shade Maple, and I just blended this out in the regular highlighted area. So that's my forehead, underneath my eyes, my nose, my cupid's bow, and my chin. And I just went in with my Real Techniques brightening concealer brush to blend this out. When I tell you guys this brush is flawless, it's definitely a beginner brush. So if you're looking for a good beginner concealer brush, I'll definitely recommend the Real Techniques brightening concealer brush. All right, so at this point we have our foundation on, we have our concealer on. So when it comes to bronzer and contours, there's different types of formulas. So we have either a cream, liquid, or powder form, and this can be in both bronzers and contours. And this boils down to preference in terms of which one you want to use. I'd recommend using a powder form if you're prone to being oily skin. That way you're using a powder, you don't have to worry about getting oily throughout the day. If you're someone who is normal or dry skin, you're open to using either a powder or a liquid or cream form base. So I'm going to show you just a few of the contours and bronzers that I have in different forms. All right, so if you've been watching my videos, I really like cream contours. So a few of the cream contours I have is the Fenty Eavesdrop Blur and Smooth Tint Stick. Now, this is technically a tint stick. You can use it as like a foundation base, but if it's about 2 to 3 shades darker than your complexion, you are open to using this as a contour stick. So in my case, this was way too dark for me when I bought it, so I use it as a contour stick. And when it comes to contour, you want to aim for shades that are in the cool range. When we talk about bringing back shadows to our skin, we're bringing back the coolness and the shadows. So when you think of shadows, we're thinking of dark shades like black and gray. So those are really cool shades. So when it comes to your contour, you don't want something that's so warm. You want it to be a little bit more cooler and 2 to 3 shades darker than your complexion. Another good one I like is the Fenty Matchstick in the shade Espresso. If you're someone that is my skin tone, this is like the perfect shade, like the perfect match. So I definitely recommend this. I've had this in my makeup kit for like years. I have a whole video on it as well. So definitely one of my favorite contour sticks. And then if you're looking for more affordable options, I have the NYX Wonder Stick and the Merit Beauty Complexion Stick. Merit Beauty has a wide selection of shades, so this is why I would say they're really good. This one here is in the shade Umbar, and this is like a really deep toned contour stick. Now another option is a powder contour. Now, a really good beginner contour kit that I would recommend is the Black Radiance Contour Palettes. And they have 3 different shade ranges. They have one that's light to medium, medium to dark, and then dark to deep. So I do have 2 of the darker shade palettes. So I have the medium to dark, and then I have the dark to deep. So this one comes with a contour powder, a sculpting powder, and a highlighting powder. So these are really beginner friendly, and they do have a little breakdown of how to use each shade and where to place them on your face. So this whole palette, shout out to Black Radiance, you guys are really catered to beginners. Definitely affordable as well. All right, so let's move on to bronzers. So like I said, there's bronzers in liquid, cream, and powder forms as well. So for bronzers, I have a few cream and liquid products. One is my Indeed Nano Bronzing Drops. Now this is something you want to place underneath your foundation. This is just going to give you a really nice bronze look underneath. Another good one is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. Now I have mine in the shade 7, and this is a really good liquid bronzer. And then there's also the Merit Beauty Bronzing Balm. To be honest, this is a little bit too light for me, so you guys have probably never seen me use it, but this is similar to a contour stick, but it is in a balm form. And this again is really bronzing. When you think about bronzers, they're nice and warm. They bring back the natural warmth to our skin. So another formula is powder. Now you guys have seen me use a lot of powder bronzers. I feel like for me, I love a nice powder bronzer. So a good one is the Fenty Beauty Sunstalker Warmth Bronzer in the shade Mocha Mami. You guys have seen me use this in a few of my tutorials, and this is like honestly one of my favorite bronzers because it's so warm. It adds a nice warmth to the skin. So if you're someone who is my skin tone, definitely the Fenty Beauty bronzer. And then if you're looking for something a little bit more affordable, you guys have seen this one as well. This is the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer. This is one of their newer releases. And then another good one is the L'Oreal Infallible Bronzers. All right, let's get into the application. So on this side, I'm gonna do contour, and on this side, we're gonna do bronzer. So today I'm gonna use my Fenty Matchstick in the shade Espresso. An OG, love using this. So when it comes to the application, like I said, you wanna do the 3 methods. So that's your forehead, your cheekbones, and your jawline. So when it comes to these areas, you just want to apply it slightly in those areas. You do not need to put a lot. I feel like this is a good amount. And then when it comes to your jawline, you want to find just right here on the tip of your ears and then create that line from there and going down. I like to stop at the end of your eye, and that is where your contour is. And then you want to just apply it to your jawline, just like that. So what I like to use to blend out my contour is either a damp beauty sponge or a contour brush. Now, in my case, I'm gonna use my e.l.f. contouring brush. This is designed for your contours. So the way it's shaped are for these specific areas. So the forehead, and your cheekbones, and your jawline. So when it comes to blending out your forehead, you want to blend it into your hairline. So as you can see, I'm moving the brush this way into the hairline, and this brush really blends out really fast and easy. Same with the product that I use. It's super easy to blend out. So I'm gonna leave this in the link below for you guys to check out or for you to purchase because it is super beginner friendly. So like I said, you wanna blend that into the hairline. And with the residue, I like to just place it on the temples here. And then for your cheekbones, you want to keep it in that hollow of your cheekbones, but you want to blend upwards. Upwards is going to give you a more lifted and chiseled look. So I'm blending it out, but I'm moving the brush upwards, but keeping that contour directly in that area. And then for your jawline, you want to keep that contour directly on the jawline. You don't want to bring it down onto your neck or up onto the face here. You want to keep it on the jawline, and that's just going to chisel out your jaw. If you're someone who has like a double chin or just want to kind of structure out your face, this is what's going to help give you that illusion. And you just want to take time with blending. Sometimes it may look like you blended everything out, but when you go out into the sun, into, you know, bright light, it's visible to see that maybe you didn't blend as much as you can. So if you need to take extra time with blending, I would recommend doing that. All right, so this is how contour is. You could see how it just, this is my whole cheek here, and you could see how it just carved out and really gave me that cheek effect, because I didn't have it before, but the contour really brought this out. This is essentially what your contour is doing, structuring and giving you that shadow to your face. So let's move on to bronzer. On the bronzer side, I'm going to use a powder. So I'm going to go in with my Fenty Beauty bronzer. So when it comes to the difference in application, with a contour, you want to be precise in where you're putting it. So like I said, you want to keep it in that area and not make it move all over your face. In terms of bronzer, you can broadly apply it on your face. So it doesn't need to be precise. You're not carving it out. You're literally dusting it in these same areas. So your forehead, cheekbones, and your jawline, and that's just going to bring back some warmth to the skin. So when it comes to your bronzer, you want to go in with a tapered, fluffy brush. So for example, this, and when I mean tapered, it's pointed towards the tip so that you're able to keep it in those specific areas. You don't want to go in with a brush that's so fluffy like this, because this will literally engulf your entire face. So tapered means tapered to the top. So all your bristles are tapered together to the top with the point. So we're going to go in with this brush today, and we're just going to lightly sweep the bronzer in the forehead area, the cheekbones, and the jawline area. So I'm going to dip into this powder, and this is a very pigmented powder, so a little does go a long way. So I'm just going to lightly brush this in the same areas of my contour. You can also do circular motions, and you just want to go like this. So you're just using circular motions to just warm back up the skin. And with this, like I said, you do not need to be precise. And then we're just going to apply it on the jawline as well. So again, circular motions just really helps it to diffuse and blend out on the skin. All right, so I'm going to show you guys the difference between both sides. So like I said, this is our contour side. You can see how structured my cheekbones is. You can see how my jawline is nice and sharp. This is essentially what a contour would do. Now on this side, you can see my cheekbones aren't as defined on this side, but I have a nice warmness going on, very bronzy and warm on this side. So that is essentially the difference between contour and bronzer. Contour is bringing back the natural shadows and structuring your face. Bronzer is bringing back natural warmth, like a sun-kissed glow. So I'm going to quickly finish up the rest of my makeup off camera, and then I'll be back to just finish off and close off the video. All right, so as I'm finishing up my makeup, so on this side, you guys saw that I used my cream contour. So like anything, you want to go over your creams and liquids with powder. So if you did do a cream or liquid contour, you want to go over that with a powder contour. So I'm going to go into my Black Radiance contour palette. I'm just going to go in with this shade here, and I'm just going over those same areas. So with contour, I like to go in with a angled contour brush. Now this is specifically angled so that you can precisely apply that contour in those specific areas. You don't want it to be broadly applied like your bronzer. You want it to be structurally applied so that you're still structuring out your face. So we're gonna dip into this powder, and we're just gonna go over those exact areas we put that contour. And in that case, we are setting that contour and just adding a nice light layer of powder over that liquid we've applied down. So the contour of this brush, you can see, is hugging that cheekbone. Now when it comes to your nose contour, all you're doing is applying that contour to the sides of your nose. So using an angled brush like this always helps. So you can easily just sweep this on, or you can really take time and carve out your nose, but I feel like that's a whole other video, especially for anyone who wants to know how to carve out your nose. All right, sis, so this is the finishing look with, of course, contour on this side. And you guys can see that cheekbone popping through. That is what a contour does. And then on this side, it's giving warmth, it's giving bronzy, it's giving glowy. This is what a bronzer does. Contour, bronzer. Contour, bronzer. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you guys think. I hope I was as detailed as possible for today's video. If you guys want a round 2 or step 2 or part 2 of this video, let me know in the comments below. But that is about it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you haven't checked out my most recent video, this video is a full step-by-step video on how to complete a full face like this, eyeshadow, everything, the whole work. So if you want a detailed step-by-step video, check this video out, of course, after this one, or now at this point. And that is about it. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.